top Medicare mistakes and how to avoid them, right? I want to make sure that we can cover some of the most important things that they need to know.
Absolutely.
And they need to avoid. So I want to start with the first one, which is really all about missing deadlines. What are things that we need to be looking for?
Yeah, when you're turning 65, I mean, there are a lot of different enrollment periods and deadlines you need to be aware of. And the most common one is, are you going to enroll into Medicare period? So some people are working, some people are not. Some people can delay Medicare Part B if they have current employer coverage. Some people need to enroll into Medicare. So the first thing is identifying, okay, what enrollment period you fall into, and do I need to enroll into Medicare at this point in time?
Awesome. That's really helpful because I feel like that's what I hear a lot from people. It's just the confusion of when do I start this process. So let's talk about number 2 that we want to cover, which is really all about kind of not understanding the different parts of Medicare, right? It's confusing. There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you can, talk about when it comes to some of those different plans and different, plan A, plan B, like what is all that?
Yeah, we talk about the alphabet soup of Medicare, okay? There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you name it, okay? The most important letters you need to know are Medicare's A and B, okay? Medicare A is going to be your hospital coverage. Medicare B is going to be your doctor coverage. So when we break that down even further, if you have claims, hospital claims, that's going to fall under Part A, inpatient. If you have doctor or physician claims, those are going to fall under Part B, which would be outpatient, okay? And that's really your primary coverage. And then after that, there's some other letters you can add on to it, but that's the foundation of Medicare more than anything, Parts A and Part B.
So another one is all around kind of ignoring that annual review. I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to choose my coverage and then I can just roll from there for years and years to come, right? But that's not necessarily the truth. And I know that you and I have talked about, this is one of the things that your team does a phenomenal job at. So what do we need to do when we think about that annual review process?
Yeah, so a lot of people get the initial enrollment period mixed up with the open enrollment period, okay? Initial enrollment period is when you're turning 65. Open enrollment period is maybe when you're already on Medicare and you need to review your plan. But that's one thing we proactively approach, right? We are going to review our clients' plans each and every year during that open enrollment period, which is traditionally October 15th to December 7th. And we're going to urge you to review those plans. I mean, plans are always changing, needs are always changing, and it's really important to make sure each and every year you have the correct plan and coverage.
So let's go back to that Medicare alphabet soup and talk about Part D. Overlooking that Part D or that prescription drug coverage. How important is that?
Yeah, the Part D is probably the most overlooked portion of Medicare, and that's going to be your prescription drug coverage. And in 2024, it's going to be dramatically different from 2025. We're having some big changes coming up with Medicare Part D, and that's one thing we talk about quite a bit in our Medicare 101 webinar is how to handle Part D. It's different for everybody, and I try not to spend too much time in a larger setting on that because one person may be taking one medication, one person may be taking 10 medications, and the conversation completely changes. So we really take an individual approach there and tackle prescription drug coverage on an individual basis.
Wonderful. And the last one I want to talk about, number 5, is really this idea around not considering additional coverage options, right? I think sometimes people think, oh, I've got, this and I've got my supplement and I don't need anything else. How important is it to really look at the whole picture and some of the different offerings?
Yeah, there is a process that we go through with every single one of our potential clients or somebody asking Medicare questions or fielding Medicare advice for the first time. We're going to go through what's called a client needs assessment. And what that does is a series of questions that helps us better understand you. One of the first things I always ask our clients when we get on a phone call is, what are you looking to get out of this appointment? This appointment's for you. What are the questions that you have that are top of mind that we can get crossed off your list? And that's what we're going to tackle first, and then take you through our client needs assessment that helps you uncover things you may not be thinking about in the first place that are going to be really important in your Medicare journey.
These were so helpful. Thank you for running, through these with us. What's the next step? What are ways to work with you or to get you to help, make this process easier for a senior? What are the services you offer?
Yeah, typically we offer a Medicare 101 webinar, and I urge anybody that's going on to Medicare for the first time, turning 65 or leaving employer coverage, to get in this thing and watch. It's 35 minutes, and it's going to be fun. relaxing. You can watch it from your own home. You can watch it from your office. You can watch it from your car. You can watch it from wherever you want. And all we're going to do is educate you on everything you need to know about Medicare. And at the end, you'll have an option to have a one-on-one call and get your individual questions answered. But if not, you've got some great free education. And that's all we're trying to do for the market is educate them and make sure that seniors aren't making these big mistakes that we see happen so often.
So how can I sign up for Medicare 101?
So typically we have a learn more button or a sign up button. You may find us on Facebook or Instagram or one of those social media platforms. And all you have to do is click, sign up, and show up. So we've made it super easy. Sign up, show up, and we'll educate you and do the rest.